The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. Ava walked at the front, her boots clicking against the crystalline floor with measured precision. Behind her, Luis carried the sealed diplomatic case, a simple black container that had caused 3-star systems to mobilize their defense fleets in the past 72 hours. The Zorthian ambassador, his tentacles writhing with barely contained anxiety, leaned toward his aide. "They're actually here. I didn't think they'd come." "They always come," the aide whispered back. "That's what makes them terrifying." Eva took her position at the human podium, Luis standing stoically beside her. Around them, representatives from 417 species waited. Some watched with compound eyes, others through electromagnetic sensors, and a few perceived them through methods that defied conventional understanding. But all of them watched. All of them waited. The supreme arbiter, a being of pure energy contained within a diplomatic framework, spoke first. Its voice resonated through every translator simultaneously. "The Council recognizes the human delegation. Ambassador Eva, you have been summoned to explain the incident at Kepler 442b. 3 days ago, your species established a colony on a world that 17 other civilizations had declared uninhabitable. When we sent observers to investigate, they reported something impossible. We demand an explanation." Eva said nothing. She simply stood there, her dark eyes scanning the assembled masses. Luis remained equally silent, his hand resting on the diplomatic case. The chamber erupted. Not in sound. The translators couldn't process the chaos of 400 voices speaking in languages that ranged from chemical emissions to gravitational waves. But the panic was universal. "Why won't they speak?" The Krillian representative hissed, its scales shifting through colors of distress. "Is this a threat?" demanded the collective of Hivemind 17. "Are they preparing for war?" The Supreme Arbiter attempted to restore order. "Ambassador Eva, this council requires." Eva raised one hand. Just one simple gesture, and the entire Galactic Council fell silent. Not because she commanded it, not because of any authority she wielded. They fell silent because every species in that chamber had learned, over the past 2 centuries, that when humans stopped talking, something monumental was about to happen. The aide to the Zorthian ambassador pulled up historical files on his datapad, his appendages trembling. During the Tharxian conflict, humans stopped talking 3 days before they deployed the stellar disruptor. During the plague of Andromeda, they went silent for a week before revealing they'd already synthesized a cure. When the Void Leviathan attacked the rim worlds, humans didn't say a word. They just showed up with weapons that unmade reality itself. "What's the pattern?" the ambassador demanded. "The longer they stay silent," the aide replied, "the more reality-breaking their response becomes." Eva lowered her hand. She looked directly at the Supreme Arbiter, then at the Krillian representative who had first questioned the Kepler 442b colony. Her expression revealed nothing. Luis adjusted his grip on the case, and the simple movement caused half the council to flinch. The Krillian couldn't take it anymore. "Just speak. Tell us what you've done." The planet was toxic. Atmosphere filled with chlorine gas, surface temperature exceeding 300 degrees, gravitational forces that should have crushed your colonists. "Our science says it's impossible to survive there, yet your people are thriving. What technology did you use? What law of physics did you break?" Eva's lips curved into the smallest hint of a smile. Still she said nothing. Luis opened the diplomatic case. The sound of the latches releasing echoed through the chamber like gunshots. Every delegate who had a concept of breathing held their breath. Those who didn't held whatever equivalent they possessed. Inside the case was a single data chip. Luis placed it on the podium in front of Eva. She picked it up, held it between 2 fingers, and displayed it to the council. The chip was unremarkable, standard galactic format, compatible with any information system in known space. 357 species have tried to colonize Kepler 442b over the past millennium. Eva finally spoke, her voice calm and clear. 357 species failed. Do you know why? The chamber remained silent. They were too afraid to answer. Because, Eva continued, you asked the planet's permission first. You studied it, analyzed it, ran your simulations, and concluded it was impossible. You built your limitations before you built your colonies. She inserted the chip into the podium's interface. A holographic display materialized above the chamber, showing the human colony on Kepler 442b. The images revealed something that should not exist: humans walking unprotected across the planet's surface. Children playing in chlorine rain. Cities built not to resist the planet but to embrace it. Humans don't ask if something is possible. Luis spoke for the first time, his voice resonating with quiet confidence. We decide it is, and then we make reality agree with us. The hologram shifted, showing the biological modifications the colonists had undergone. Not machines, not environmental suits. They had changed themselves, rewritten their own genetic code, adapted their bodies to breathe chlorine, to thrive in extreme heat, to exist in crushing gravity. You look at a hostile world and see death, Eva said. We look at it and see homework. The Zorthian ambassador's tentacles went completely still. You changed yourselves? Modified your own species? We've been doing it for millennia, Eva replied. We started with tools. Then we modified our environment. Then we modified our bodies. There is no natural human anymore, Ambassador. We evolved past natural the moment we picked up our first stone and decided to make it sharper. The Supreme Arbiter's energy field flickered with what might have been confusion, or all the translators couldn't quite capture it. Why didn't you tell us this? Why the silence? Eva's smile widened just slightly. Because you needed to understand what human silence means. When we stop talking, it's not because we're preparing for war. It's because we're already 10 steps ahead of whatever problem you think is unsolvable. When humanity goes quiet, it means we've already done the impossible and we're just waiting for the rest of the galaxy to catch up. Luis closed the diplomatic case. The sound of the latches engaging was somehow more final than their opening had been. Kepler 442b is just the beginning, Eva said. We're adapting colonies to survive inside stars, in the event horizons of black holes, in dimensions that most of you can't even perceive. Not because we want to frighten you, but because that's what humans do. We refuse to accept limitations. We refuse to acknowledge impossibility. She turned to leave, Luis falling into step beside her. Wait, the Supreme Arbiter called out. If humans are this powerful, why do you remain in the Council? Why seek our approval at all? Eva paused at the chamber's entrance. She looked back over her shoulder, and for just a moment, every delegate saw something ancient in her eyes. Something that had looked at caves and seen civilization. Something that had looked at Earth and decided it was too small. Because, Eva said softly, even though we can do the impossible, we choose to do it together. That's not weakness, Arbiter. That's the most human thing of all. As the doors closed behind them, the Galactic Council remained frozen. Not in fear, they would later claim, but in something far more profound: recognition. They had finally understood that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their refusal to accept limits. It was their refusal to face the universe alone, even when they could have conquered it in silence. Outside the chamber, Luis finally spoke. Think they got the message? Eva smiled. They always do, eventually. And somewhere on a planet that should have been impossible, human children continued to play in the chlorine rain, laughing at a universe that had tried to tell them no. ND.